If you're in a group, you should always have somebody watching and have someone be aware that things like this happen. There are going to be people who don't agree with what we do, and there's going to be people who find us weird.
Well, guys, today's gonna get heated. Every now and then, I come across a situation on the internet where the response to said situation absolutely blows my mind. Today is one of those days. The internet is a weird place. It is a place that you will find opinions that you did not think were possible for a human to hold. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody say something crazy on the internet, thinking it's a joke, and then realizing that they believe what they said with every fiber of their being as you investigate further. An example of said crazy stuff could be something like, I don't know, thinking that pointing a gun at somebody in public is no big deal. This past weekend, I was officiating a wedding, which if you follow me on Instagram, you would already know about. Okay, that sounded a little bit aggressive, but you should follow me on Instagram, okay? And somebody at the wedding showed me this video where a guy who is a cosplayer talks about an experience he had outside of a convention, where he was pointing a fake gun at somebody and then someone walked up to him, slapped the gun out of his hand, and then tackled him to the ground. Now his reaction, and the reaction of most of the people in the comment section, is not the reaction I had, so I wanted to bring this to you guys to see if I'm just going insane, or if the people who are involved in this incident are just being a little bit silly maybe. I'll let you be the judge. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
In that last clip you just watched, that is me and my friend at a convention, and we were in cosplays filming a TikTok. We were right across the street from the convention center for Anime Detour when this incident unfolded. So for my cosplayers out there, how can you not end up like me?
So I'm not a cosplayer, but my advice to not end up like this guy would be to not point anything that even remotely resembles a firearm at anybody. I'm pretty sure most of these big conventions have like a no fake gun policy to begin with, unless it's something super obviously fake. This gun does have an orange tip, but I'm going to talk about later why I don't think that's really that important in this situation. These TikToks are a perfect example of the curse of knowledge.
If you're in a group, you want to always make sure that there's somebody watching and there's somebody focused on making sure that no one's going to run up on you. In that situation, I had no idea that that guy was walking up until he was right on top of me. Self-awareness is very key in these situations.
Alrighty, so I would like to highlight that this guy says that self-awareness is key in these situations, considering the fact of what he's going to say here next.
Especially with a lot of people around. If you're in a group, you should always have somebody watching and have someone be aware that things like this happen. There are going to be people who don't agree with what we do, and there's going to be people who find us weird. You will have people that want to cause harm to you.
Okay, so this is where this guy completely lost me. When I first saw this video, up until this point, I thought this guy was trying to give out some advice on how to prevent people from thinking you are an actual threat. Like he learned a lesson from what he did, so he was trying to give a PSA to try and help prevent people from making the same mistake. But no, from what I can tell, it seems like this guy thinks that he was tackled because the other guy didn't like that he was cosplaying, I guess. Now, like I said, the first time I saw this, I went through the comments section and I was absolutely blown away to see that it seemed like every single person who commented on this video has the exact same mindset as this guy, that he was attacked because this guy doesn't like cosplayers. Now, I don't know if I'm just missing something crucial here, and that's part of the reason I'm making this video, because I cannot for the life of me understand how these people are getting to this conclusion. The man who tackled this guy seems to be in his 50s, maybe early 60s. Do me a favor, go ask somebody over the age of 50 what a con is, and they're gonna say a scam. Like I said, I think these videos display the curse of knowledge very well. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when you assume that everybody you talk to has the same sort of expertise or base of knowledge in something that you do. So amongst many other reasons, one of the reasons I can't take this guy seriously saying that he was attacked because he was a cosplayer is because I don't think this random 58-year-old man knows what a cosplayer is. Allow me to paint what I think is the actual scene here. So later on, he's going to say that they were near the convention when this happened, but then he's going to follow that up by saying that they were filming out of the way of everybody. So I don't really know his proximity to all of this, but what I think actually happened here was this middle-aged man who has never heard of cosplay or conventions was walking down the street completely oblivious to the fact that a convention was going on nearby, and he sees a guy backing away from somebody with his arms raised because he was filming, and then in front of him is a guy walking him down pointing a gun confronted him. This guy kind of goes into panic mode. He clearly tries to hit the gun out of the guy's hand. When that doesn't work, he tackles him. If there are so many cosplayers around, if there are so many people in costume all around you, why did he not attack all of them? Like you said, self-awareness is key in these situations, and you should have the self-awareness to know that you are a fucking idiot to have anything that resembles a real pistol out in public, much less to be pointing it at another human. How many people have to die doing this before the general population realizes that it's not a good idea? Could this guy have tackled you because he really doesn't like Resident Evil or he just hates cosplayers for some reason? Sure, maybe there's a chance. But for you to immediately jump to that instead of having any sort of self-reflection and thinking, maybe I shouldn't have done that, is insane. We're gonna see later that this fake gun doesn't really look all that fake. Not everybody knows what an orange tip on a gun means, and when you're walking down the street and you see out of your peripheral vision somebody pointing a gun at another person, it might be easy to miss an orange tip.
There's a lot of people who might take offense to what we do, and especially the props that we have. In that video, we were using a prop pistol that was obviously marked as a prop, but it may still be found offensive, whether that's a firearm or a sword or anything like that. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, please make sure you call the cops.
Yeah, good advice, partner. If you're dressed up like a school shooter and you're holding a fake firearm, make sure to call the police. They're notoriously good at handling situations like that properly. Once again, because I don't think anybody in this situation has really grasped this concept yet, you were pointing what looks like a gun at another person in public. If you think you are in any way in the right in this situation, you're delusional.
So I want to give a little bit more context to this video. I feel like in the video that I posted, I was only talking about like awareness things and not necessarily what happened to me specifically. So keep in mind, yes, we are outside of the convention center, but we're still very much in the convention area. There's cosplayers all around us. There's people taking pictures. The con is still very much going on where we were at.
So look, he says this, but if you watch back the clip of what he's talking about, there doesn't seem to be a single person anywhere around them. I looked through his page and saw another TikTok that he posted that appeared to be from the same day, and if you look around, it's the same thing. There appears to be one single person in costume around them. But that wasn't enough for me, okay? I'm a visual learner. I wanted to get the scale of this, so I looked up where this took place, and it was at the Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis. This building, you're seeing right here, this big one with the kind of weird L shape almost, is the Nicollet Mall. If you go down to here, we can see clearly that this building right here is where that TikTok took place. They were walking along here. This seems to be somewhere where a person could very likely be walking, and more importantly, it's a decent amount away from the mall. Is it insane to think that cosplayers would come down here to get pictures? No, not really, but acting like you have the full context of the convention going on around you is kind of disingenuous when you're a full city block away. Just saying.
And as you can see in this picture, this pistol is very obviously not real.
Sorry, Nathan. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. If you managed to miss the orange tip on this, which like I said, I think is very, very possible, this looks like a real firearm. Yes, it does. And again, not everybody knows what an orange tip means. That is why, for the dozenth time, you don't point anything that could be mistaken for a real gun at anybody ever, especially not in public.
So there's myself, my friend in the video behind me, a cameraman, and then another one of my friends sitting down with all of our stuff. So we were filming out of the way of everyone, and this guy definitely went out of his way to approach us. So with everything he did, I have zero suspicion that he was trying to protect anyone. I understand that gun violence is a very real thing in the US, but this was not a case of him trying to be a hero. He was just trying to harm us.
Nathan, I've got to be honest. This is kind of a crazy thing to say with your entire chest. How do you know this? Look, you've got to understand, to you and the people in your circle, it's probably very obvious what was going on here. Just like it's been very obvious to filmmakers and actors in the past when they were doing a robbery scene out in public and they end up getting the cops called on them. Just because you knew what was going on does not mean that everybody else in the world knows as well. Keep in mind, this guy looks like a boomer. He probably thinks the way you and your friends were dressed is just how kids dress these days. This might be a hard pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, this is your fault. Well, guys, what do you think? Am I reading this situation incorrectly? Am I missing something? Am I not considering something? Because seriously, if you go watch this original TikTok, there are thousands upon thousands of comments saying this guy did nothing wrong, that he was targeted because he was a cosplayer, not because he pointed what looks like a real gun at another person in a public setting. I don't get it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.